This is William K. Murtaugh, Witness 1, and today I'm going to talk about compassion. The demonstration of compassion to someone I feel does not deserve it. There was a hearing today to determine whether or not Field McConnell was going to be allowed to return to his house under level 1 house arrest until such time as he goes to trial for violating the court orders out of Florida and being involved with the stalking of Kim Pasquale. Now, as some of you know, Bill McConnell lost his wife, Denise. She died just before the end of the year. And because of this, there had been a motion filed with the court that Field McConnell be allowed to return home in order to handle his personal affairs up there in regards to his wife and his estate. And today, that motion was granted solely because Kim Pasquale allowed it. She showed compassion. She offered her condolences for the death of Field's wife. She showed, for anyone who was able to hear in the proceedings in court today, that she is not the woman that Timothy Charles Homseth made her out to be and that Randy Q. Erickson made her out to be. She is, in fact, a good, kind, gentle, and compassionate woman who was a victim of one of the most vicious cyber attacks I've ever seen in recent memory, and that includes the attacks against me. Kim Pasquale's life was threatened. She was accused of horrific things which were not true. And she was put into constant fear for her safety and that of her family. And this is why Field McConnell was in Florida, because of these threats to her and her family's safety and security. And this was all brought on by Timothy Charles Homseth, who filled Field McConnell's head full of these sick ideas about Kim Pasquale. All the lies that Tim Homseth had told Field McConnell and that were in the book that he wrote influenced McConnell to the point where he said these things about Mrs. Pasquale, made the threats that he made concerning Mrs. Pasquale, and what caused him to be under house arrest in Florida. And so now, Field McConnell has been given a break that I would not even consider. He's being allowed to go home. He is being allowed to be in familiar surroundings, in his house, with all his expensive cars to play around with, to settle the affairs of his recently deceased wife, and so on. All thanks to Kim Pasquale. And so all those people out there who have read the things that have been said about her, the accusations that have been made about her, just think for a moment, if Kim Pasquale was the woman that Tim made her out to be, that Randy has made her out to be, that Kirk Pendergrass has made her out to be, she would not have given Field McConnell the break that he was given today. She would have instead bore down, made things even worse. Said there's no way in hell I'm going to allow Field McConnell to go back to Plum City, Wisconsin. He needs to stay right here. But no. She proved herself to be a compassionate and understanding woman and has decided to allow Field McConnell some freedom. to allow him to go back to familiar surroundings, to give him a chance. And so now Phil McConnell has a decision to make. Is he going to take advantage of this compassion and be thankful to Kim Pascasio for this break? Or is he going to hang himself with his own rope and go back to his old habits? Time will tell. You know, everything rests on Phil McConnell. It's up to him to determine how things go forward. Because if he were to correct his behavior and perhaps through his lawyer offer to recant everything he said about Kim publicly and to put the blame squarely where it belongs, and that is on Timothy Homseth. And if Field were to denounce Tim Homseth and say that he was misled by Homseth, that Ms. Homseth filled his head full of lies, that he takes responsibility for what he says, but that he is sorry he ever listened to Tim Homseth and he never wants anything to do with Timothy Homseth, then perhaps, I can't say because I don't speak for Mrs. Pascasio, but maybe, just maybe, Field could get an adjudication of guilt, time served, be put on a lengthy probation, and perhaps put this matter behind him. But that, again, that's going to be up to Phil McConnell. It's going to be up to his attorney. And in the end, it's going to be up to Kim Pascasio. It is something to think about. Because in the end, the primary responsibility for everything that has happened over the past year and a half lies with Timothy Charles Homseth. He's the one that he's the one that started all this, and in the end, he's the one that should be held accountable. But even though Phil McConnell is going home, he's still under level 1 house arrest. He still has a trial coming up. While Timothy Charles Homseth, if he is still alive, is free to do what he wants, where he wants, as often as he wants. He has not suffered one iota. He has not taken any responsibility. Instead, him and those that speak for him still continue to make matters worse. So, Phil McConnell, the ball is in your court. What are you going to do with it? This is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one.